MLB The Show is entering its 4th year on Nintendo Switch, and while the mere existence of this ambitious and fully featured sports game on Nintendo's old creaky hybrid system is impressive, it's getting harder and harder to recommend, unless this is truly your only option to play some virtual baseball. The pieces of the game are incredible, and in the 4 years I've covered MLB The Show for Nintendo World Report, this is by far the sharpest every single game mode has been simultaneously. It's awesome seeing a developer continually innovate and reinvent modes in such a successful and consistent manner. I just wish everything else wasn't bogged down by being on a console saddled with decade-old technology. One of the standout new features is the solid revamp of the online-only Diamond Dynasty. If you aren't familiar with it, this is their persistent mode that you collect virtual cards and make your own team to compete in a variety of single-player and multiplayer modes, all online. The last year or two of Diamond Dynasty got very convoluted, as there were different sets and seasons that would reset throughout the year that would more or less invalidate your previous collections. That has been completely done away with in 2025. Though it seems like with that change, it's a much slower ramp up to putting together better teams. Overall though, it's extremely a positive shift. The mode also benefits from a very novel roguelike board game mode called Diamond Quest. You roll a dice, and you move around the grid uncovering spaces and landing on challenges. The concept of this is awesome, as it puts you in a mixture of quick challenges, like strike out 2 batters in an inning, or get an extra base hit, and slightly longer challenges like a 3-inning game, or scoring a certain amount of runs in 12 outs. It's a highlight of MLB The Show 25, but not necessarily on Switch. The snappiness of the mode just isn't present, because everything is slow to load, and I honestly got to a point where even though I enjoy this mode and I think it's incredible, it just became a slog. Some of that blame can be placed on the lack of variety in some of the challenges, but most of it is on the slow load times. That carries over to most of the Diamond Dynasty mode. It's a cool mode that just chugs on Switch. The Road to the Show mode, where you create your own player and play through their career, had a big revamp last year in MLB The Show 24. For the most part, I love that. This year it's even better, as they seem to really fine-tune some of the more cumbersome story elements and added in high school and college starting points. I said last year that this mode wasn't fully ready for the big leagues on Switch, but this year it's in much better shape, even if there are still technical shortcomings because of it being on Switch. A mode I never dabbled that much with previously, but have historically always enjoyed in sports games, is the franchise mode. It's something that has been relatively similar and stale over the last few years in the show, but the latest version has had some substantial reworking. It's way more compelling as honestly just a general manager simulation, just controlling the roster and simulating through the years. If you're the sort of person that likes fiddling with budgets and numbers in your sports, this mode might be dangerously engaging. Some of the tutorials could be a little better, as I had a rough first offseason, even as someone who is familiar and follows the free agent circus in the baseball offseason. Still, once I got the basics down pat, it has a really nice rhythm to it, and it was really incredibly fun to build a team as a general manager with the numerous levers I could pull to try to improve the squad. One of the last things I'm going to touch on is the storylines mode. I've loved this museum-style mode that started showing up in MLB The Show 2023, but this year it seems like it's starting to hit a little bit of diminishing returns. Still, seeing the history of Negro League legends like Cool Papa Bell and Turkey Stearns just absolutely rules. Additionally, Sony has announced that they will be adding more storylines in future free updates. As of now, it doesn't seem like there will be something like the novel Derek Jeter storyline from last year, which is a little disappointing. Regardless, the Negro League's content here is incredible, even if it's dipping a little bit into reused content from past games at this point. If you want to play a licensed baseball game and you only have access to Nintendo Switch, MLB The Show 25 will absolutely do the trick. This version is an adequate representation of the pristine gameplay design and mode variety the series has been consistently delivering for years. But every aspect of it feels compromised on Nintendo Switch. Here's hoping Switch 2 is a much better destination for MLB The Show 26.